Hello, fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast. My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle.
And we are two sisters who love books and love reading. And so what we have done is created this podcast in order to talk about different bookish content. This can range from book reviews to book theories, comparisons to books and movies. The list goes on. But in today's episode, we are actually going to be talking about the second buddy read that we have done, and that is for the book called The Inheritance Games. Now, Belle is sitting over there with a copy of it right now. Who is the author on that?
Jennifer Lynn Barnes.
Okay, so we started to read this book because we had seen it recommended a couple times by...
Don't even go there with me. I saw the book online. I wanted it when you were on your one of many Barnes & Noble trips without me because I was in college. I said, I want this book. And Mom got it for me because she loves me. You read the back of it and were like, I want to read that. Let's be real here.
Okay, no, that's not entirely how it went. What happened was, Belle was interested in it first. I will give her that. She was. I had seen it recommended a couple different places, and I forget what I was looking at. At some point in time, though, I happened to read the back or look into it a little bit more, and I thought, okay, this would be interesting. This could be something that we both read. So we put it on our long list of things to read that we are going to read together, and we went ahead and read it. Now, Belle actually read the entire book in one night.
I did. It was bad.
Yeah. I took a little bit longer to read it, and I didn't start at the exact same moment that she did. I started like an hour or two later than she had, and it took me a little bit longer to finish mine because I did listen to the audiobook version of it, so that way I knew I would get it finished in a timely manner. But because Belle fell in love with it, we're first going to talk about our general thoughts on the book, and then we'll probably get into some more spoiler territory later. So when we think we're going to be crossing that line, we will warn you, but this is going to be the general warning. Spoilers will be here at some point, so if you don't want any risk of spoilers, read the book and then come back after you finish it. So, Belle, what are your general thoughts first about this book?
I love this book. I thoroughly enjoyed the writing style. The not all the characters. The main character, I really liked. If it's on the back of the book, does that count as a spoiler?
No.
Okay, it has a lot of riddles, like elaborate riddles, and as somebody who loves puzzles, loves riddles, loves brain games, anything like that, like Arya can attest, if you set out a riddle or give me a word game or anything like that and set it in front of me, I will be the happiest person ever.
Yes. I know that that's how you are.
Well, that is how I am. So we are legally blind. We each had to go through vision training.
Yes.
And unlike Arya, the good student, I wouldn't say I was a bad student. I had to kind of be bribed.
Yes.
And I was bribed with brain teasers and word puzzles. In order to do my work.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Okay, so that's your overall thoughts. You loved it.
I did.
Now, I will read, because what I normally do is after I read something or listen to something, if it's something I'm going to be talking about for either the blog or for the podcast, I just write little notes in my phone and go over those.
I did not do that because pretty much how me reading this book went was I was like, I don't have anything to do. And Ari's like, read a book. Well, what book do I read? And she's like, here, read this, and threw it at me. This was at, 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah, something like that.
It was like 11 o'clock, and she's like, just read for a little bit until you're tired and then go to bed. I was up till 4 in the morning. No joke. I didn't go to bed till 4:11 a.m.
Yeah. She was,
It was
she
bad.
finished it very,
So, like,
very quickly.
I don't have many notes on me.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But we'll talk a little bit more about the book here in a little bit.
Okay.
But overall, first, my thought was, I'm not sure how I feel about it. And I'll explain that a little bit in more detail later on when we go into more kind of spoiler-ish territory. But for me, there were parts that I liked and there were parts that I didn't. But it's not going to be a series that I will continue for me personally.
Wimp.
It's just because I know that when I read it, I could tell that this is definitely a Belle book and it is not a me book. And that's okay. You know what I mean?
At the Night Circus for me.
Yes, that you still need to read.
I hate that book.
That you still need to read.
Reread.
That you still need to reread. But yeah, I knew that this was probably about halfway through, well, not even halfway through, maybe a quarter of the way through. I could definitely tell that this was very much a Belle book, and it wasn't a book that I normally gravitate towards. It was an interesting premise for me, but at the same time, it's not something that is going to be something that I want to continue with, just because at the end of the day, it just wasn't for me, and that's okay. You know, everybody likes different things, and that's fine.
To be fair, I was very surprised when she said she wanted to read it. Because, like, just reading the back of it, I'm like, why does she want to read this? This isn't a book she would, like, enjoy. Like, it didn't sound like an Aria book. And I'm like, why the fudge does she want to read this?
Yeah, I don't know what came over me. There have been times recently, and this has been very recent, that things that I don't normally go for some odd reason, I've been like, yes, I'm going to read this. And then sometimes it works out really well. Sometimes it doesn't. And this is one of the ones that it unfortunately didn't go quite as well. So, overall thoughts out of the way, we are going to be talking a little bit more about the plot and about kind of more of our thoughts about more of the book itself. So again, you have been warned. Okay? So, the first thing that I made a note about was that I got a lot of Knives Out vibes from this book.
Love that
and
movie.
I love that movie. And I think that's why I ended up wanting to read this book, because for me, I think I gravitated more towards the Knives Outness of it.
Yeah, to be fair, our whole household loves that movie.
Yes. And so because of that, when we were in the beginning of the book and just how everything goes in the beginning of the book, I'm like, yes, Knives Out, I am here. I'm with you all the way. And then for me, it started to be, you know, there was kind of the go-between between the characters of Grayson and Jamie, Jameson, but Jamie, as he's known in the book. And that was a big turnoff because I don't know, like I just was like, I don't need that right now. What are you making faces at over there?
I'm sorry. I'm currently looking at the book. First, I had a epiphany over the cover. I was like looking at all the things on the cover, and there's so much symbolism on the cover. And then I opened the back of the book, and it mentions like more from Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And there are books in here that are on my TBR.
Oh
to
my
get.
gosh.
So I was just like, I didn't even know that.
Okay, well, Belle's excitement about all the cover and that aside.
Yeah, keep going. Ignore me.
Then the next thing that I made a note about, and this is the only other note I have about this book, is that after there was a certain point that for me it went into hardcore Rebecca vibes with the whole thing that was going on with Emily, and that really pissed me off because, as we all know, I hate Rebecca. And so once we hit that point, I was out. I was done. Like,
how
it wasn't
the heck
for me.
did you get Rebecca vibes?
How do you not get Rebecca vibes?
Because there was no Rebecca vibes.
Yes, there was. Okay, answer me this. Riddle me this. Okay, you have a story about a set of boys who is in love with this girl, and she ends up spending her time with these boys over the summer. Eventually, she moves closer to be able to actually live near enough to the boys that they're together all the time. The boys fall in love with said girl, and they both go after her. She then ends up dying for reasons. And then all of a sudden, the new girl who is here finds out about it. And she realizes how much both boys are still in love with the girl. How is that not Rebecca?
Because, okay, so...
No. How is that notRebecca?
Because it's not Rebecca.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
That is so Rebecca. Maxim never loved me.
No, because never once. She, okay, Avery pretty much just does not care. Like, yeah,
No,
she
does care.
She cares a bit about Jamie.
Yes.
She cares about Jamie. She does not care about Grayson. For that one, she's just like,
yes.
Well,
but at the same
sucks to be you.
But at the same time, who was one of the boys involved? Jamie. Who still seems hung up over this girl?
No, he's
Jamie.
No.
Yes.
He's only hung up over her death because he thinks it's his fault. Only reason. If somebody died in front of you and you did nothing, you wouldn't tell me you wouldn't be affected by that death.
No, that is not at all what this is going. No. The point of the story is that it crossed into Rebecca territory, and I got mad.
It didn't. You're nuts. You're grasping at things that aren't there.
Oh, no, I am not. Those
yes,
are very
you
much
are.
there.
If anybody agrees with her, please let me know. Please
yes.
let me know.
Yes,
because
please let us know.
She's delusional, and I think she's just trying to get Rebecca out of everything.
No, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. If I never want to see that book or any mention of that book, so for me, it turned into Rebecca vibes.
You're wrong.
I am not wrong.
Yes, you are.
So now, what were some more of your thoughts more about the plot itself then?
So the main reason I was up till 4 a.m. reading this book was because compared to the two of us, I'm extremely logical minded. So I loved all the puzzles, and I was like trying to figure out everything out on why Avery was picked to be the inheritor of billions and billions of dollars and estates and pretty much everything, while the family was disinherited.
Yeah. And again, Knives Out vibes. I'm here for those.
I'm not arguing that. So, I was up just trying to figure out the whole mystery to it. I have theories.
And we are going to be doing an episode later on down the line about some theories that we have about this book. So if you are interested, stay tuned because that is coming in a future episode.
Yes, it is.
So you really then were just kind of suckered into the whole thing and was just kind of like, I'm just here for the puzzles, and I love the puzzles. I love the way Avery thinks. I love just how this is going. I am here for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All in all, then, it is kind of then a bit of a split then between us, which, again, this is definitely more your type of book. So
it's kind of like Stalking Jack the Ripper.
Right. So if you are a person who is more logical minded and likes the puzzles, this is the book for you. If you are like me and are not quite as logically minded, the puzzles and stuff are interesting, but it's not make or break for you. And I mean, even if you don't like either Knives Out or Rebecca, then this book would not be the one for you. At the end of
the Rebecca part. She's just nuts. At the end of the day, it's either I feel like this is a book that you're either gonna love it
or you're not.
Yeah, or you're not.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those, it's for the select group of people.
Yes. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Overall, This is a book that I think for the most part, I'm glad I experienced it. Again, am I going to continue further down with the series? No, I'm not going to. I love the Knives Out vibes, but that's about where it ended for me.
Well, I'm over here just I loved it, finished it at 4:11 in the morning, and have been patiently waiting for my winter break to end so I can go back to my apartment at school to where the second book is, just sitting in my room so I can read it.
And I'm sure once she does read that, we will be talking about it in some capacity down the line. So
and I cannot wait for the third one.
And again, keep your eyes ahead, because this is quickly becoming one of Belle's a new favorite series. We will be talking about it more.
Yeah, fun fact, I don't just like things, I obsess over things.
Yes, and this goes back to she just knows things.
I don't just know things. It's called I question the world and I look it up. It's called Google. You're also forgetting that I'm also the girl who broke Google.
How?
Remember, I was trying to figure out what that one theme song was from, so I typed in the whole song into Google. And Google's like, we don't know what you're asking.
No, I don't remember this.
Use less words.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I've broken Google a couple times.
Okay, well, on that lovely note, we are about out of time for today's episode. Of course, if you like what we're doing, if you've enjoyed the episode, please like, share, follow, comment, any of those things. Of course, you're not obligated to, but if you would like to, please do, because it does help us to grow the show. And then next week, we are going to be talking about...
You're going to be doing a bad retelling.
Another bad retelling. All right, well, we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.